one, and then 2.
So Josephine and Emmy,
27.
what are we going to do today? We're starting. Oh, here she comes. Here comes Farmer Steph.
Hello. Happy Monday! It must be Monday at noon because we are live with Coast of Maine on their Facebook Live channel to talk to you about organic pest management today. So
Big questions about that from everybody this year.
So many
too.
questions.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about,
Yes.
guys. So as a lot of you know, my son Joey is a stage 4 cancer survivor. Because of that, and because we have kids here every single day of the summer harvesting from the vines and from their plants, every minute of the day, we don't use chemicals, you guys. We don't use anything. We use Coast of Maine in our soil, and we use Coast of Maine fertilizers and amendments. That's it. That is all we use. That means we gotta use our hands and our eyes for pest management. And it also means you're not gonna get every single thing out of your garden, and that's okay. A lot of people think that you need to spray and treat until every single thing is gone. You don't. You really don't need to do that, and you're adding more harsh chemicals into the soil than really necessary. So here at Farm to Table Kids, we grow probably about 3 acres of produce. All of that's done by hand, you guys. And if you think I'm kidding, this is what we did in the first hour farm camp this morning after all of the rain. Emmy, why don't you tell us how we collected these? What did we do?
We collected snails.
Yeah, where did we pull them off? And what veggies were they on?
They were on cucumbers.
And lettuce mostly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they come out after the rain. So the kids love going through the plants in the garden and actually using their hands to pull the slugs off. Oh, did you open this? Okay, great. The other thing that we look for are golden eggs. We love going on golden egg goose hunts. They're not goose hunts, they're golden egg hunts. And let's show them what the golden eggs look like. Yes,
All right,
Josie.
you got a little stuff on the tip of your nose.
Thank
we
you.
can tell you've been picking stuff
I have.
off.
Josie, can you show Cameron these golden eggs?
Let me see. Whoa.
And
So what are those golden eggs?
they're
Aphid eggs?
aphid eggs.
Those are aphid eggs, and those are laid by a very terrible bug
Yes.
called a squash beetle. A squash beetle it's big, it's about this big, it's gray, it has a triangular back. I was trying to find one to show to you, but when those aphid eggs hatch, you guys, they look like this. These are little baby aphids. They're just tiny little spidery things, and they will wreak havoc on your plants. They just chew them down so much. So what you want to do is, when we see eggs like this, Penny and Sierra,
Oh, yeah.
we are just going to take our fingernails,
And just scrape them off.
scrape them right off, okay? Now, a lot of times, in the greenhouse especially, if I'm noticing that we have thousands of these little aphids running around, and that will happen, we just take Dawn dish soap with water and spray them right on. It knocks them off the plants, and the soap also erodes at their skin and will eventually kill them. So that's a really safe way to do it if you do have an infestation. But to stay on top of it ahead of time, we love looking. They're always usually,
Underneath plants.
yeah, so show us. Let's
Emily
inspect this
knows.
plant and
Yeah.
see what we can find.
Oh, there.
Exactly, show
There we
Cameron.
go.
Yeah, they are. They're too light.
Oh, let's see that.
No, they're
There you go. What are you going to do to that,
Wow.
Emmy?
Scrape them
There you
off.
go, girl.
Great
Yes.
job.
Good. And so we just look under, and you can see, you guys, this is one plant, and it has so many eggs on it. So it is a fun thing. Like, the kids actually do stay attentive to this and like to help out with it. So go ahead and just scrape them right off. Ooh, that's a good
See?
one. Good.
I love how, they're just jumping right in here
They are.
to do this.
Well, I mean, we're looking for golden eggs, Cameron. Who doesn't love looking for golden
That's
eggs?
true.
I know.
And we're actually finding them. Oh, we got, I think we got some on that.
So the other thing about pest management, guys, is making sure your plants have plenty of airflow so they can get sunlight and airflow. That means weed management. And I gotta show you something. We just started doing this in the garden. I'm crazy about it. I'm obsessed with it. The kids all know because we've been doing it for weeks now. We've been taking our Coast of Maine bags, and as you can see, we have so many. So we've been taking our Coast of Maine bags and laying them down as a weed barrier and then putting wood chips on top. And it's such a great way to repurpose. So let me see how this plant had a ton of squash beetles on it? I'm gonna go through and just pull up all these weeds to make sure we can give that squash plant more light and more airflow. So we're just gonna pull these up, pull them up. Okay. So those are all leaves. It's like mostly lamb's quarter, some mint in there. But I'm just gonna go through, give this plant a lot more room and sunlight and airflow. Okay, and now I'm gonna lay down my Coast of Maine bag, and then girls, Penny, could you please get the big white bucket of wood chips right there, and just dump it right on here.
They're so great about this stuff too.
They're so
Awesome.
fantastic. So we did this. Thank you, Emmy. All right.
So outside of this, Deborah Brown is asking, how do you get rid of those tiny white flies?
Oh, great question. So we're just gonna cover it like this. And that's a fantastic weed barrier for us.
That's awesome.
And it'll just stay there all season long. I might have to put some more wood chips on every here and there, but I mean, we got this beautiful white fence donation along the big field.
Yeah, it's
out
gorgeous.
back,
Yeah.
and we did that along the whole perimeter. Now I don't even have to weed whack. Saves so much time. So making sure we have weeds pulled and you can get sunlight and airflow through is great. White flies. The best thing to do for that, especially if we can have that issue in the greenhouse, is to plant pests that will attract those. Do you think we can go into the greenhouse?
Sure, absolutely.
Let me go into the
Let's
greenhouse
go.
with you.
Let's go on a little trip.
I am a big fan of incorporating nasturtiums to attract
Yep.
those flies. And I'll show you exactly why. I have nasturtiums all over my greenhouse, and you're gonna see those flies and their eggs all over the nasturtium. I don't care about that. I don't harvest the nasturtium for anything more than like sometimes we use it for edible flowers in our salad mixes, but I intentionally plant the nasturtium for those flies.
Somebody's also asking what kind of wood chips. Or is it, what kind
These
of?
are pine wood chips
Yeah,
that we
that's what I
have. If you actually contact an arborist in your local area, a lot of times they're looking for places to dump those wood chips because they actually have to pay to have them stored or delivered other places. So I have a great relationship with 2 arborists in town, and we get those wood chips. So these are nasturtium, and this nasturtium, I had to cut it a little bit because, as you can see, you guys, these are the flies that person was asking about. They're all over these plants. They're everywhere. Let me take this for example. So this nasturtium, as you can see, has a bunch of black fly eggs on it. That's okay. What I do, as you can see, is this one plant got totally just overrun with them. So I just cut it off at the base, put it in a trash bag. Do not put it in your compost pile. Put it in a trash bag and take it out and put it in the trash. The white flies, as you can see, are all over here, okay?
Yeah.
But the other thing, look at this leaf, and then look at the strawberry leaf right next to it. It's perfectly clean. No
So
bugs
they'll
or
just go
anything
to
on
the
it. Like this.
nasturtium instead of to the other
Yeah,
plants.
the strawberries are perfectly fine. The sweet peas are perfectly fine. They're all on the nasturtium. And that's okay with me. Like, that's why I plant them. Because, look, this is side by side. You've got a nasturtium here, strawberries here. Nothing on the strawberries. The nasturtium are covered in them. Okay, so that's the best organic way to do that, is by planting, partner it up with some plants that they'll cover instead of the ones that you want to harvest on. Japanese beetles is another one that we get a lot around here. Japanese beetles, they're a pain. I don't use the traps because the traps can pull Japanese beetles from miles away and actually attract them to your trap. So yeah, you'll get your Japanese beetles in your garden, but you might also get the entire neighborhood's Japanese beetles too. So I don't use those at all. If you have a plant that's covered in Japanese beetles, because they can get really on top of each other, in the morning, in early morning or at dusk, put some kind of covering or tarp down on the plant that's infected and shake it. Just shake it, and get all the beetles down, and then wrap it up and throw them away. That's the best way to do it organically and with hands. So always just know what to look for. know what a squash beetle looks like, Google these things, okay? Squash beetle, cucumber beetle, Japanese beetle, and cutworm. And those are like the 4 things you should absolutely know what it looks like, so that when you see it in your garden, you just start pinching. And slugs, but everybody knows what slugs look like. So that's how we take care of things we don't want in our garden here at Farm Stable Kids, right? And the other things you can do is after you collect a bunch of slugs, we're really big into slug races around here. So
Oh, that's awesome.
before you toss them, make sure you have some fun with your little pests, and you can have slug races with your slugs after you catch them. And then
So how do you guys like being here at Farm Disabled Kids? Are you having fun?
Josie made me these earrings, you guys. This is Josie. She's been coming to
made
farm
those?
camp with me for 5 years, and she made me cookies and these earrings this morning.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. Well, you guys did a great job today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for giving us all that wonderful information. And Steph, you're always awesome.
Do people have any questions for us?
I did not. I had those 2 questions. We answered them. We had good attendance. I think
Awesome.
people get a lot of benefit out of this.
All right, good. Use your wood chips. Make sure you weed, have airflow, sunlight, and know what to look for. Google those things. If you see those spidery aphid things, where did they go? We let them go. Kill them. All right? Happy farming. Stay safe out there. Don't use chemicals. Just use your hands.